Hey there. Like many of you, I've got a couple of routers and got this little bit bigger Porter cable, and then my little Bosch trim router, which I just loved and I've used for years and years. And problem I have though is, usually I've got this one set up in the router table, not always, but usually. Well, I've got it set up for a different bit and it was chucked up with a 1/2-inch collet. So now, what do? I take out the collet, put in my 1/4-inch collet, and I'm running something over on that table. And I just thought, especially if it's a small piece, boy, it sure would be handy to have a little table for this guy. Now, obviously I've taken out the original piece and I've put in there a piece of plexiglass as the base. So I've replaced the base, and that was easy. Just piece of 1/4-inch plexi, and then drill 4 holes in it that line up. And I absolutely love this. It's way more stable than the original base. I can see my workpiece underneath it, which is sometimes helpful. But I just got to thinking, man, it would be nice to have a second router table set up where I could run these 1/4-inch bits easily and not have to constantly change the collets on this guy from 1/2 to 1/4 and whatnot. Plus, it's just harder to change bits on this because it's underneath the table. I've got to take it out and bring it back up top since I don't have one of those fancy pants lifts, just old school lift on there. So anyway, this is kind of what I came up with, and I really like it. It works really well. I tested it out this morning. Basically, here's what I've got. Got my table saw outfeed here, and so just using my calipers, got the exact thickness of this plexi and routed down close to that with this guy with just a 1/2-inch, just a really nice 1/2-inch router bit that I like there, upcutting. And got really close and then just used some feeler gauges from there to really dial in that depth. I was able to use the feeler gauges and slip them here underneath this stop to make up for the difference after about, I think, 3 adjustments. I got that thickness exactly where I wanted. I think I was within, maybe like 6 or 7 thousandths or something, which is good enough. And so now what I've got here is this little table for my trim router. So just drop the plug through, feed that down in, drop it down through here like this. It goes in there. It's a fairly tight fit, and it's nice and flush there with the surface. So I really like that. Let me aim this down a little more here. So yeah, just a handy little guy. And then I can plug that in. Now the other little attachment that I made for it here, the accessory rather, is just a little stop block, or a little push block rather. So the piece I'm working on right now, I've got to make some 7/16 by 7/16 walnut strips here. You can see they're pretty darn small. And I want an 1/8-inch round over on that. So just on 2 edges. And so what I did was I took my little block here and just notched out the corner about 3/8 by 3/8, and then just super glued on a piece of walnut here, just some leftover walnut, and now I have this set up. So what I can do, and I'll just do a quick test cut, rather show you than just talk about it. So let me plug this sucker in here real quick, and we'll get that going. Super easy to turn on too, by the way. really not too bad. Puts a nice consistent round over. I went back with my hand just to double check for odd spots. And of course I'll be sanding them down to get rid of any burn marks, or just to get rid of that line that's created there. I'll just do that with hand sanding on 120. So anyway, now I have a great solution. So this is super easy, very easy to go from just my trim router right to another table router in my outfeed. And then when I am using my table saw and I'm not using my router, I can just drop this guy down here, lower it below the surface, lock it back up, and leave it there. And there should be no problem leaving it right there. It's nice and flush with the table, so shouldn't catch on my materials. And that's what I've got today, but just a really fun solution. So I hope that's helpful for you. Thanks.